All right, everyone, we'll begin now. We're still waiting on one speaker, but we'll begin with what we have so far. First off, welcome to our June community call. This community call, for the first time ever, will actually be two parts, so we'll have another one tomorrow. Our wonderful community has so many updates this month that we wanted to make sure everyone had a chance to speak and update the community on what they're working on. Today, joining us, we have Bree Yin from Darwinia. And then we have Alexi, founder of Interlay. And then we have Hoon Kim, CEO of Astar. And then we have Raul, Polkadot Council member, to give us a governance update on all the motions, referenda, and proposals that were passed this last month. Before we get started, I just wanted to remind everyone that next week we have Polkadot Decoded, which is the biggest Polkadot event of the year. This year, not only is it the first time that it will be hybrid, it's also going to be a multi-location event taking place all over the world in this post-COVID society. It won't just be in one place. It will be in China, in Hangzhou, in Europe, in Berlin, in North America, in New York, and in Latin America, in Buenos Aires. Simultaneously, there's about 10 to 20 different viewing parties happening all over the world, in the US, in Africa, in Europe, in Asia, everywhere, as well as multiple side events. So make sure to, if you can't make it in person, you can still RSVP to attend it online. All main stage talks will be live streamed. You can do that by going to decoded.polkadot.network and RSVP. Simultaneously, there is a limited edition NFT, so it's first come, first serve. Depending on when you RSVP, the more rare your NFT will be. So make sure to RSVP as soon as possible and get one of the more rare NFTs that we will be giving to the attendees of Polkadot Decoded this year. And I look forward to seeing all of you. Simultaneously, some of the speakers we're having today are also going to be speaking. Hoon will be speaking about Astar. Interlay, Alexi from Interlay will as well as there's Darwinia talk. So definitely come, and if you want to learn more about these projects, make sure to tune in to Polkadot Decoded. So without further ado, let's kick off the agenda here. Bree from Darwinia, would you like to start?
Yeah. So this is Bree from Darwinia, and thank you for having me at today's Polkadot community call. So we have got many. So I'm going to start to introduce myself, or I can start my talk for today. I'll be the first.
Yes, you'll be the first.
All right. So actually, we have got many new updates to share with the Polkadot community from Darwinia. So Darwinia now is actually a cross-chain messaging infrastructure. We have updates our development milestones and roadmap. So Darwinia will provide a reliable and programmable cross-chain message platform and framework for decentralized applications. So we're also going to provide developers with an SDK, and developers or Polkadot and Kusama community can easily integrate cross-chain capabilities into their dApps. Also, we have got Crab Network, which is our canary network, also a Kusama parachain. And Crab is EVM compatible, but with the cross-chain bridge infrastructure. And our ecosystem game Evolution Land has launched its new continent on Crab, and has opened its PvP gameplay to all NFTs to showcase interoperability of NFTs. So if you're interested to get your NFT or your project on board, so please reach out. And I will be speaking at this year's Polkadot Decoded about Evolution Land as well. So make sure RSVP to attend online and tune in for Evolution Land speech. So for today, I mainly would like to share some about Darwinia LCMP. It's a little bit technical, but it's really critical to the whole Kusama community. So actually, LCMP refers to Darwinia's light client cross-chain messaging protocol. And LCMP contains two layers. One is truth layer and another is message layer. So a truth layer contains a light client, and a message layer is primarily used for sending cross-chain messages. The light client in a target chain's truth layer will do the verification. The target chain's truth layer, the light client in the target chain's truth layer will verify messages from the source chain. So here is a brief workflow of how it works. It's pretty simple, and if you're not a technical folk, you can still understand the whole workflow of LCMP. So actually, the DApp on the app layer cause a send message on the message layer to initiate a cross-chain operation first, and after send message is executed, the relayer will forward the message to the target chain, where the truth layer will verify the message and executes the text carried within. So once the process is completed, the relayer will forward the confirmation message back to the source chain. So the whole process removes the third party. Like a multi-sig federation to be completely decentralized. So integrating Darwinia cross-chain message SDK, developers can build multi-chain dApps with few strings of codes. It's pretty easy for non-tech people as well, just as easy as building ordinary dApps. And you just pick and choose the features and functionalities, features you need from any of our supported chains. Basically, substrate chains to EVM compatible chains. And integrating them into a single smart contract deployment. So this ability to stitch together multiple smart contracts across numerous chains will refine the way our dApps are developed. So with Darwinia SDK, developers or substrating enthusiasts are focused on your dApp features, functionality, your business, user experience, while leaving bridging stuff to Darwinia. Actually, we handle the cross-chain bridge complexity. So this is actually just the beginning of multi-chain dApps from a cross-chain message. Also, I would like to share some of the use cases of the light client based cross chain message protocol. So if you would like to build a cross chain DX, cross chain NFT marketplace, and you would like it to be completely decentralized, because we have got certain advantages compared to some traditional cross chain message solutions. Feel free to into some of our Darwinia docs to get a more understanding of how it works. So also please reach out if you need some certain tech support for building on Darwinia LCMP here. And finally, I would like to share some of our development milestones in terms of LCMP and Darwinia Network. Actually, we have got our substrate to substrate bridge message SDK has finished its first stage of development milestones, and we have been now supporting cross-chain development of smart contract, and it's been under testing. Also, we have been actively in some parachain corporations, like say with Moon River, Kakura, Bifrost, and Zinglinks, and we have open cross-chain message channels between these parachains. And we finished integration tests of our parachain bridge. Parachain bridge between Pangolin and Pangolin parachains is running and under testing. And also our APPS is supporting more substrate ecosystem wallets to provide better user experience for our community members. Yeah, so that's that's the a brief updates of development milestones in Darwinia and a little knowledge about LCMP. So if you guys have more questions, we can definitely have a further discussions in the Q&A session. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Bree. And also for those tuning in, if they'd like to learn more about Darwinia, where should they go? Uh, for those tuning in, if you'd like to learn more about Darwinia, you can actually click on their profile photo here. This is their Twitter. And then in their bio, they have linked their website and so on. But yes, there'll be hopefully a Q&A after this. If so, please hold your questions. Up next, we have Alexi, the founder of Interlay, here to talk about IBTC.
Hello. And well, yeah, thanks for having me. I'm Alexei. I'm one of the two co-founders of Interlay. And yeah, the goal today is to just give a brief update on what's been going on. There's been quite a lot of new stuff happening, but I'll start with just a very brief summary of what Interlay actually does. So at Interlay, we envision a future where blockchains can seamlessly connect and interact, and you should be use any digital asset on any chain, right? Nowadays, you have to know which blockchain you're using, which wallet you're connected to, but we'll never reach mainstream adoption unless using DeFi applications is as simple as withdrawing cash from a bank, right? When you withdraw cash from an ATM, you don't care how banks settle. And this is the usability that we need to get to. But without the loss of security. And this is exactly what Interlay is building. Our main focus right now is on Bitcoin, and our flagship product is IBTC or into BTC Long. It's a Bitcoin-backed asset that it is pegged one-to-one to BTC. It is physically redeemable for Bitcoin, and it is secured by a centralized network of custodians and multi-collateral. So what it actually is, it's the equivalent of DAI, but for Bitcoin. Now, what is the current state of Interlay? So Interlay went live 100% decentralized on June 8th. This means that all core features of the network have been activated, including transfers, staking, and governance. And the Interlay team has given away all control over the network. So now the system is fully in the hands of the community. We have also wallet integrations live with Nova, Fearless on the mobile side, and with Talisman and Subwallet in browser extensions. Of course, you can also use Polkadot.js if you're a more advanced user and want to experiment with the parachain RPC endpoints. So, IBTC launched. The launch of the main product of the Interlay network and essentially the vision of bringing Bitcoin into the Polkadot ecosystem. Launch is scheduled within the next 2 to 3 weeks. We have run the final tests. Testnet is also live. We'll be posting a few links during this talk, actually, or right after it. And you can already go ahead and test this on testnet, or if you want to test it in a real setting, you can go to our Canary network, Kintsugi, and test minting KBTC. The first collateral asset to secure IBTC will be DOT, and followed shortly by Inter once their markets. And after that, we'll be looking into USD stablecoins, liquid staking assets, and other parachain tokens, and potentially L1 assets imported from other networks to diversify the portfolio and basically stabilize IBTC against the Bitcoin price and ensure security of the system. Proposals are open, and you can submit one to our governance platform on Subsquare. And we have our own quant risk team now built up, but also, of course, are looking forward to receiving discussions and analysis from the community. If you want to be an IBTC vault, please go ahead and join our Discord. We have a vault launch channel which is dedicated to vault operators. We have 60 operators active right now on the Kintsugi Canary network, and they're all super helpful and happy to help you with setup and answer questions. And also our technical team is in that channel. You can also read the docs. Again, we'll post, and hopefully perhaps this can be reshared shortly after this session. You'll find the information of running a vault on our docs page there. And of course, as already mentioned, the testnet for IBTC is live, so you can go ahead and spin up a vault if you want to experiment and be prepared for the mainnet launch, because obviously being first has its benefits. In terms of next steps, the next steps are DeFi integrations with Moonbeam and Akala. XAM channels are being opened from Interlay to these two parachains as we speak. Next, we'll obviously open more XAM channels to other Polkadot parachains. How we typically approach this is we identify a main use case. with the other parachain team, make sure that this is ready. And then when we open the XCM channel, you can instantly use either IBTC on their parachain or their tokens, their assets on our parachain, for example, as collateral. So there's always some specific use case when we open the XCM channel. And the other big things that we're working on right now, and we'll be working on for the next couple of weeks, because we have, together with the community, identified them as being most important, are Vault user experience improvements. Right now, you still need to be quite technical to run a Vault. We're doing our best to make it simpler. And one of the things that we're doing is separating this Vault operation into two roles. Essentially, we'll follow a validator delegator model where technical providers can operate the Vault software, and you as a user simply can manage the financial side of it and just use this Vault as a financial product without the risk of custody. So that's the big coup here, to make sure that Vaults can never gain custody of the Bitcoin and the collateral assets and just provide the software. And we'll be making pretty good progress on that. On the other hand, we've been working on Vault fee model improvements. And here we have multiple things that have been analyzing for the past weeks, months, and will be soon posting to our community forums for review. And these models include insurance subscriptions, secondary markets with synthetic minting, and others. So there's quite a lot of research that has been going on now that the network is live. And once IBTC is live, we finally have the capacity to write those up, publish, and start discussions in the community. Now, another very interesting thing that we launched is a new form of ambassador program. So we had an ambassador program on Kintsugi. We made a few mistakes there. Basically, we weren't as active as we wanted to. We have learned from those. We have worked very closely with some of our active ambassadors, and we have recently relaunched the program under the name Innovator Program. This is a new form of ambassador program, and it focuses on education, research, and innovation. Specifically, of course, anyone can join, and by participating, you can level up. And based on your level in this program, you will be able to submit and get access to bounties by the Treasury. The higher your level, the more interesting bounties you can access and actually submit. And of course, the more interesting and complex bounties pay out higher rewards. The idea here is that we don't want to have any work gone unrewarded, and the Treasury will be funding educational resources, production of translations, events, and so on. You can already read up on this. We'll be posting a link shortly, or you can head over to our Medium or our Twitter profile, and you'll find all the information there. And of course, do join our Discord if you're interested to participate. We're using the D-Work platform to manage these bounties. And last but not least, we will be at Polkadot Decoded next week in Berlin. 5 people, myself, our head of operations, Caroline, our 2 super experienced BD managers, Chris and Henry, and also Greg, our senior software engineer. And both Greg and myself will be giving talks. So if you're in Berlin, we're super happy to meet with you face-to-face. We'll also be organizing a side event on the 29th. I'm not going to leak too much information, but save the date, 29th in the evening in Berlin. There will be a pretty cool side event organized by us and some other parachain teams. We also have Liv, from our community team, attending Decoded in New York. And in Buenos Aires, we will have a booth and we'll be represented by some friends from the Polkadot ambassadors. So if you have questions and you're attending any of these events in person, do check it out. We're super happy to get to know you and share more updates in person. And that's it. Thanks so much for letting me share all this info. And yeah, look forward to your questions afterwards.
Thanks, Alexei. That was so much. And also congratulations on launching Interlay on Polkadot earlier this month. As Alexei said, they've been live on Kusama for a while now, but their mainnet launch on Polkadot was a huge milestone. So congratulations on that. Up next, we do have another live parachain on Polkadot, Astar. So joining us today, we have Hoon Kim, CEO of Astar.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hoon from Astar Network, Chief Entertainment Officer and CTO. And yes, we have been making a lot of progress recently. I'm really excited to share everything with you guys. So for one, we have recently announced the Polkadot Dot Festival. So to celebrate the XCM channel integration with Polkadot, selected ecosystem projects on Astar Network will receive a higher APR for locking your dots. So please do look into that. And we do plan on having other festivals to celebrate other HRMP channel integrations with other parachains in the coming months. So that's also really exciting. And in terms of development, our team is very focused on bringing WebAssembly smart contract capability to the masses. And another thing another big news that we announced recently was the XCM vision paper that was written by me, which describes how we can leverage the power of the Polkadot ecosystem and to create an innovation hub on Polkadot ecosystem. But basically, the main assets of Polkadot, we think, are the diverse parachains, and through this, through the power of WebAssembly smart contracts and chain extensions, and the incentivization mechanism of dApp staking within the Astar Network, we want to create a platform where people can leverage different parachains through XCMP, and not just bridging assets, but being able to bridge features from one network to another. And how can we realize this vision? So, for one, we need to increase the adoption for WebAssembly smart contracts. And to do this, our team has been working really hard on this new project called the Swanky Suite. And the Swanky Suite is a collection of tools, notably Swanky CLI and Swanky Node, which allows developers to easily kickstart, scaffold different dApps that are based on WebAssembly smart contracts with various languages. Although right now we are currently supporting Ink, and we are working with the AskLite team to bring assembly script, being able to write WASM smart contracts through assembly script. And with this tool, we will bring more adaptation, create more use cases for the Polkadot ecosystem. And Swanky Node it's a development node that also supports chain extensions for various custom palettes. So developers can interact with the blockchain itself and test within that environment. In the future, we plan to integrate a similar structure as a Polkadot launch, where you're able to set up a local relay chain and parachains and test XCMP features directly from a smart contract. And another thing is we are getting closer and closer to releasing the WASM smart contract palette, the contract palette to our main network. We are really working hard on that with Parity as well. And another thing that we are working on is, of course, we're working on various mechanisms to enable innovation on our network, which we have right now is EVM environment with a lot of ecosystem projects in there. We have a lot of liquidity in that ecosystem or in that environment, but it is really difficult to bridge those assets to the WASM space. So we're also working on XVM or cross virtual machine that will enable interactions between different environments directly from your smart contract. And we are also planning on leveraging the assets palette to act as this bridge between assets. And in the future, we will also bridge features between those environments. And yeah, if you want to learn more about Astar Network, please visit our public documentation, docs.astar.network. You can also join our Discord server to talk with the team and to interact with the community. And yes, I will also be attending Polkadot Decoded Berlin. We'll have a speaking panel there, and Sota, our founder, will be in New York, Polkadot Decoded, and he'll also have a speaking panel there too. So if you're in New York or Berlin, you're in luck. Please say hi to me. Yeah, that'd be great. And that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thanks, Hoon. And yes, like all the speakers we've heard from thus far, we are really looking forward to having you guys at Polkadot Decoded and to hear more. For all of the speakers, Darwinia, Astar, and Interlay and their Kusama chain Kintsugi here that you see join the chat, you can just click on their Twitter, make sure to follow them and stay up to date with what they are doing. Last but certainly not least, we have Raul joining us today. Raul is a Polkadot and Kusama council member, and he will give an overview of all the motions, referenda, proposals that took place on both Polkadot and Kusama this last month.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Thank you to Emily again for hosting the community call this month. As always, I'm going to give you a rundown of both governance proposals for Kusama and Polkadot. I'm going to organize this as first Kusama, governance and treasury, and then Polkadot, governance and treasury. Just a note that these are not all of the proposals that were passed, but what I think will be the most interesting for you to hear about. If you have any other questions or comments on the proposals that were passed, you can always find them on Polk Assembly or Subsquare, or you can join the direction channels and ask over there, and we can give you all of the information. To start with Kusama, I want to start by mentioning the changes in nomination pools requested by the staking team. Congratulations to Kian and the staking team for this particularly interesting feature on Kusama. Nomination pools, as you know, is already up and running on Kusama Network, the experimental network, before it goes to Polkadot. The staking team has been monitoring the created nomination pools on Kusama and have been checking and reviewing carefully all of the user back reports, which is why Kusama Network is up and running in order to experiment and test all features before they go to Polkadot. A number of fixes have already been made. Nonetheless, the team is currently investigating a bug in the reward payment mechanism that will likely require a migration. So to make these operations easier, the staking team has requested governance to lower the number of pools to 64 and 16 members per pool. This means that a maximum of 1,024 members can participate in pool and Kusama for now, which is both high enough to allow people ample experimentation, and it makes the migration easier in preparation to deploy this on Polkadot. The referendum number is 208, and it's up for vote right now by the community in referenda queue. Make sure to go there, review the contextual information, and vote on this proposal. It has 20 hours to go before it's either approved or rejected. Kusama also went through a runtime upgrade to version 9230 of the runtime. This was already voted by the community and passed as referendum 206. All of the release notes, the runtime changes, and the proposal hash can be found on Polk Assembly and Subsquare. Please note that the new changes for this runtime includes an update on weights and some add-ons for nomination pools and bags to continue working as expected, among other things. Regarding common good chains, on Kusama, as you know, common good chains upgrades and changes of configuration need to happen through the relay chain governance. So at the moment, referendum 210 is up for vote to upgrade StateMine's runtime to version 9230. This runtime is particularly interesting because besides the XEM and the core substrate changes that happen between 9190 and 9230, this runtime most notably includes the renaming of classes and instances to collections and items in the uniques palettes to be more aligned with industry standards. It also allows NFT collection owners to set a max number of items. And finally, this release also lowers the deposit required to create both fungible and non-fungible asset classes. The updated values will be one Kusama on StateMine. And when this happens on Polkadot, eventually it will be 10 dot on StateMint. Regarding treasury proposals on Kusama, besides the coded proposals, which I will talk in the end, there is a very interesting proposal that was passed and executed by the Council last week, which is Motion 487, a bounty proposal for infrastructure maintenance of the network. As you all know, the treasury was originally created to develop and maintain public infrastructure. So we're talking about block explorers, indexing projects, open source wallet integration and development, and whatnot. On behalf of the community, a group of community members proposed the creation of an infrastructure maintenance bounty that will delegate the work of reviewing and approving maintenance proposals from the council to the curation team. So now that the bounty was approved, the next step is to elect the bounty curators that will submit their application soon in order to be voted by the council. After this is approved and the bounty is up and running, then all of those teams that aim to request funds for maintenance for the next 3 or 6 months on the network will go through the bounty instead of going directly through the council, which will fulfill the ultimate goal of bounties, that is to delegate the decision of treasury spending to the community, to delegate the responsibilities of the council, and to scale up the system in this way. On the side of Polkadot, we have a few governance proposals, and the treasury proposal as well is a bounty as well as in Kusama. Referendum 67 has already started and is up for vote right now. This referendum also aims to upgrade Polkadot runtime to version 9230. As stated before, these changes on the runtime include an update on weights, among other things. You can use the SR tool yourself to take the proposal hash, and you can check the notes and all the contextual information on Polk Assembly and Subsquare. There is also a very interesting proposal that was approved last week, Referendum 66. This establishes the first HRMP channels for statement. Originally, this was voted and approved by Referendum 62, but there was a problem with the weights calculated in the proposal. And so we have submitted the same proposal again. This was already passed by the community as Referendum 66. And the first 5 parachains, Equilibrium, Akala, Moonbeam, Astar, and Parallel, have open HRMP channels with statement, which is a big, big milestone for the Polkadot network. So congratulations to those parachains as well, and to the statement team. Then on the side of treasury proposals, there is an interesting proposal by Zoe, which is the head ambassador for events on the Polkadot Ambassador program. Her proposal is a community events reward bounty with child bounty distribution. This allows council to delegate the responsibilities of reviewing, evaluating, and approving events funded by the Treasury from the council to the curation team. You can find this proposal in the discussion tab on Polk Assembly and Subsquare. Hopefully we will be able to submit this treasury proposal as a bounty for vote quite soon, and then to choose the curation team that will take care of reviewing all of the events proposals that will happen in the upcoming year on Polkadot and eventually on Kusama as well. To close, I want to talk about both Kusama and Polkadot related to the Coded 2022. As you know, the Coded 22 is happening next week. We're very excited to be part of it. The community has been super strong in the preparation, drafting, and submission of treasury proposals. In the last 3 weeks, a total of 15 treasury proposals were submitted to make the Coded 2022 even bigger with the participation of the community. I want to give you a quick rundown of what was approved. So on the Polkadot Treasury, for Buenos Aires, the Treasury proposal by Polka House to organize and execute the main chapter of Buenos Aires, including all of the curated agenda by the community, was approved. And in New York, the main event execution and organization with the curated agenda by the community, is also going to be organized by Moonbeam as well, by Pure Stake, so Moonbeam Parachain, which we're really excited to have them organize this as well on behalf of the community. For Hangzhou, there is a side event focused on XCM knowledge sharing by 5 parachains: Unique, Parallel, Akala Network, Fala Network, Bifrost, and Moonbeam Network. In Seoul, there will be an evening event to celebrate the opening of Decoded 2022 by Fala Network. In Berlin, you will have an opening party organized by Zoe and a couple of parachains, and a closing party on June 30th for the Polkadot community attending this chapter by Manta Network. In New York, there will also be a side event with talks by head ambassadors on the first day of the Decoded 2022, organized by Unique and Manta Network. And in relation to the Kusama Network Treasury, for Buenos Aires, there was a motion that passed council vote, including 2 side events, one by Polkadot Hub, which is a hub of knowledge and articles, videos, and blog posts in Spanish for the Spanish-speaking community, organized by 2 Polkadot ambassadors, Lorena and Hernan, so a shout out to them, to commemorate the Spanish-speaking community and discuss parachains, NFTs, and metaverses, and a side event as well by a Polkadot ambassador, Pepe Araucano, was also passed, so congratulations for that. On the Kusama Network, we also voted and approved a 500 attendees side event to join the discussions on Polkadot Decoded 22 from Mexico City. Super excited to have this part of Latin America also joining Decoded 2022. In Spain, a 2 days viewing party and discussion event by Kryptonitas, by Cervera in Valencia to discuss the latest developments in the ecosystem and what's to come. And then we have 3 simultaneous events in Abuja, Kampala, and Kigali in Africa to discuss the latest developments in the ecosystem by Polkadot ambassadors, and in Rio de Janeiro by Polkadot ambassador Eduardo Cardoso, a side event to gather the community, ambassadors, and validators in Brazil to discuss everything about Decoded. So we're super excited to have a big part of the community participating in the proposals, submissions, and drafting of this particular side events. Thank you to all of you who participated, voted, left your comments, and discussed these particular proposals. If you want more information about how to attend these events, or you want to review the proposals, you can always visit the governance forums. The links will be shared with you soon. And if you want to know more about the Treasury, how it works, if you want to learn how to submit a proposal for your event or for any other type of projects that is related to the Polkadot or Kusama networks, you can always go to the wiki. In the wiki, you will find all of the informations, or you can join the direction channels and we can walk you through the process as well. To end, I want to give a big shout out to the SapSquare team. The SapSquare team is a governance forum that a lot of the parachains were already using. They recently integrated Kusama and Polkadot relay chains as well. So at the moment, we're using not only Polk Assembly, but also SapSquare. They also have integration between each other in order to share contextual information. And I know the teams are working on a mechanism to store information in a fully decentralized way. So we're really looking forward to use that. And I'm also going to be at Polkadot Decoded. I'm going to be at the Buenos Aires chapter. So if you want to talk about governance, about treasuries, or anything related to Polkadot or Kusama relay chains, you can always find me in the main event. Just look for the very, very tall guy that is obsessed about governance, and then we can discuss whatever you want. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you. Are you sure there's not going to be another very tall guy that's obsessed with governance, or are you the only one?
I mean, I hope I'm not the only one, but yeah, it will be one of the two probably. So
Great. Thank you, Raul. Now, as Raul said, that's just the highlights. Can you believe it? That is just the highlights of what happened on the network for governance for the last 2 months. I want to call out a few of them that Raul already mentioned, but one, of course, Polkadot Decoded. The amount of proposals he just mentioned that were passed in record speed is just amazing to highlight. Polkadot Decoded is the only conference, true to the network's fashion, that is decentralized, it's distributed, it's funded by the Treasury and governance, not only the side events, but also part of the conference locations as well. So that's really cool that we utilize the power of governance. We utilize voting, everything from voting to the talks and democracy to funding locations, and also allowing the community, from ambassadors to parachain teams to infrastructure providers to communities like Polka House to host locations is made this year the biggest one yet, and I hope next year is just it's only going to be bigger. Another one is he mentioned nomination pools on Kusama, and this will be coming to Polkadot soon, TM. But it's important to note here that nomination pools remove the minimum nomination amount. So this is a very cool feature that allows you to participate in staking and securing the network, regardless of how many tokens you have. Now, by using nomination pools, there is no minimum nomination amount. So it gets rid of that, which is a huge success. And congratulations to the team on already releasing that on Kusama and soon to come to Polkadot. So keep your eyes out for that if you're someone that is not staking yet because of the minimum staking amounts. Another thing he mentioned was HRMP channels with state mint. So state mint is the common good equivalent on Polkadot to state mine, which is on Kusama, and it's a common good chain that allows anyone to mint assets on it. And HRMP channels is just the way that chains can the transportation mechanism between chains. So it allows parachains, like he mentioned, Equilibrium and Akala and these other chains, in this case, to open up a channel with statement and be able to do everything from sending assets with XCMV3, sending even NFTs like non-fungible assets, and token transfers, as well as arbitrary messages. So those were three really cool things that I really wanted to highlight and make sure everyone understood what happened there this month. And I would like to open up to audience questions. If anyone has questions here, you can just request to be a speaker in the lower left-hand corner. Make sure you're on mobile if you do that. If you're on desktop, it will not let you speak. But if you're on mobile, you can do that, and use the little emoji button down here to wave your hand if you have a question for our speakers today. All right, Kevin, over to you. Kevin, you might need to unmute yourself in the lower left-hand corner.
Classic noob
There you
error
go.
there.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. So I co-host a podcast called Crypto Pulse, and I'd absolutely love to get somebody from Polkadot on the show to talk about the platform and what you guys are doing. And I'm just wondering whether somebody could just message me or help me organize that in some way, because I'd love to bring some awareness to this incredible project, because what you're doing is really revolutionary.
Yes, absolutely. But I'd also like to suggest Alexi and Hoon and even Bree, these chiefs or founders from our parachains who are excellent at talking about what we're bringing in. You also get a bunch of niche use cases, right? So
amazing. That would be really fun, actually. Yeah, I'd really like that. So maybe if anybody is just listening to this and would like to talk to us, then just give me a follow and drop me a message. That would be wonderful. But keep up the great work. Yeah, it's really, really fascinating to watch this thing develop.
Great. Thank you, Kevin. I will do that ourselves, so you're in contact with Polkadot, but
great.
Absolutely, I'm sure Alexi and Hoon and Darwinia Bree would love to talk about their projects.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
All right, and let's see here. I believe Chloe.
Hey, yes, good afternoon. Hey, thank you for hosting this. It's awesome. And thank you for bringing me on the stage. Same as Kevin, I'm a community manager for a big EU farming organization. We have almost 100,000 members. It's growing every day. It would be interesting to have you guys talk about the EU farming opportunities. And also, it's a great opportunity, a great way to get more awareness and to be connected with other communities. Yeah, so let me know whoever is interested. It'd be nice to connect.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chloe. These speakers here, as you can see, are a hot commodity. So yes, everyone, if you're interested in working, reach out to Chloe. You can just follow her here. Chloe, I'll need to remove you to add someone else as a speaker, but thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, yeah, just DM me and I will arrange the time. So thank you.
Hello, is this David? Is that what your name is, judging by your handle?
Oh yes, I'm David, but popularly known as Madux J. Nice to be here. I'm happy. I'm glad. Okay, my question is about the Polkadot meetup in Abuja. I'm actually from Nigeria, so I would like more updates about that. Then the last one is about Interlay BTC or IBTC. They mentioned stuffs about the vault and a whole lot. So I'd like to ask, is it going to be offline or online? Like, would you still need to use the internet to access your IBTC? Thank you very much.
Cool. Shall I jump on the IBTC question then?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. So yeah, thanks so much for asking. So for now, yes, you do need to be connected to the internet. I know that Blockstream has basically shot up a satellite to allow you to access Bitcoin from just via the satellite network. Definitely something we could explore long term. For now, you do need at least to use and interact with the platforms or DeFi applications, you do need a connection to one of the networks. Let's say you want to use Bitcoin on the Moonbeam network, so you do need to have access to internet to be able to connect to the DeFi applications and specifically to the chain, so to any node running on that network. Long term, obviously something that can be worked on, but for now, yes.
Oh, great. Thank you, Alex. Then for the meetup, who would address that?
Yes, I can address that. So the Abuja side event, it's it's organized by Maimuna, who is a Polkadot ambassador, and she's the organizer of this viewing party. It will be a 2-day event, and it will happen at the Hotel 2020 event hall. You will be able to find all of the information if you go to kusama.polkassembly.io/motion/493. You'll find the 3 side events for Polkadot, Decoded and Kusama 2022 for Abuja, Kampala, and Kigali. And then you can click on the first one, the Abuja, and the proposal will open with all of the information there.
Okay, thank you. So you said the number is 493, right?
Say again?
493.
Correct. So it's kusama.polkassembly.io/motion/493.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll also be sharing all the side events from Polkadot's Twitter, and there's also a Polkadot Decoded Twitter, which is at Polkadot Decoded. But yes, definitely, if you want to see it right now, route that link that we'll just gave you. You can also check it out there. All right, and Eric. Hello, Eric.
Hello, hi there.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, sure. I have a quick question. I wanted to know if there is any Polkadot happening in Nairobi, Kenya, and also what are the requirements for one to be a Polkadot ambassador?
So at this time, there actually isn't anything happening there locally. To be an ambassador, you just simply apply. There is, you can apply on Polkadot.network. Hold on. Let me get you the link here. But yes, you can simply apply by going to Polkadot Network and then clicking on blog, because I will. And then there is a blog on how to become an ambassador. And in there, there's a link to the forms you need to fill out. And you can also read up on the ambassador program.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And we have time for, I believe, one more question. Let's see here.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, I just had a general architecture question about Polkadot. So after the lease period for a parachain, I don't know if you guys knew this, but after I think it's 2 years, I was wondering if a project is not challenged in a candle auction, does it just persist, or does it automatically have to re-put up a rent? I'm not sure how that works in the long term.
So you're asking that once in a candlelit auction, if a parachain team doesn't win the auction, do they have to resubmit to start another auction?
Or after the lease period, and I think there's 100 parachain slots, right? But if they're not all filled, does the project just get to persist until it's challenged, or does it automatically have to read candle auction? I'm not sure how that works.
Got it. So yes, so first thing is on Polkadot and Kusama, yes, one relay chain can support 100 parachains, right? So at which point, once either network surpasses 100, there would just need to be a secondary relay chain, which has been called a number of things in the ecosystem, from nested relay chains to para relay chains, and so on and so forth. Or a parachain just simply becomes a relay chain in and of itself. So yes, that 100 limit is only referring to the limit a single parachain, a single relay chain, how many parachains it can support, not how many parachains could potentially be on the network, also with bridges and so forth. And then second, your question is once their slot is up, then what happens to them, or how do they get a new slot? So there's a few things there. On Kusama, the max slot limit is 48 weeks. And then on Polkadot, it's essentially almost 2 years at 96 weeks, so twice the time. And then once that slot is up, as you can see on Kusama is the only network as of now where slots have, where the first parachains have already actually lost their slots, and all 5 of them rebid. That's even Hoon from Astar here. Their Kusama parachain Shiden, they just rebid for a new slot. At this time, that's their only option. But in the future, there's also the option to become offboard as a parathread, and that's simply a pay-as-you-go model. So with once you win an auction, it's kind of like your cell phone bill, right? They have unlimited data. They have everything is included in their slot, but they put up that bond, which they get back entirely at the end of their slot. and they can also use the crowd loan model where they source the funds from the community, which also go back to the community at the end. But there's also the pay-as-you-go model, which is a parathread. And in the future, they will be able, if they don't want to rebid on an auction, to just simply take a parathread slot and then pay for their throughput, pay for their transactions, which might make more sense depending on the chain, right? For low throughput chains, it could make sense. Another option we've also seen, and we actually haven't seen it, but we know we will see it, is teams on Kusama not wanting to have two tokens or two different chains, one on Polkadot, one on Kusama, simply moving over to Polkadot and using Kusama to test their chain. That's also an option as well. And yes, or launching additional smart contract functionality on one of our many smart contract chains like Astar and Moonbeam and Akala and so forth. Raul, am I missing anything here?
No, I think that's complete.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, and in response to the funds, regardless of if a chain chooses to rebid or not, the funds go back. If they want the crowd loan model, the funds go back to the contributors, at which point they can re-contribute if the team does another crowd loan, or in some cases, just do an auction and put up the funds themselves.
Okay.
Great. And
Thank
we
you.
are exactly at 3 p.m. on the dot. But thank you so much for everyone joining this. And a huge thank you to our speakers. So we have Alexi from Interlay and Kintsugi, and we have Hoon Kim from Astar and their Kusama equivalent, which is Shidden, and we have Bree Yin from Darwinia, and then we had Raul, our Polkadot Council member, to give us a governance update. Again, I think you've heard it with every speaker on the call, but don't forget to RSVP to Polkadot Decoded, claim your spot now so that you get one of the more rare, limited edition, unique NFTs. They're really cool. I can vouch. And tomorrow we will have another community call with different teams at 5 p.m. CEST. We'll be joined by Fala Network, Manta, Bright Treasury, Chain Safe, who's also in this call right now, but we'll be speaking tomorrow, Substrate Snap, and about Substrate Snap, and Equilibrium. So again, thank you to everyone who tuned in. This recording will be made available for the next 30 days on Twitter in case you missed anything or joined late. And we will also be putting out a tweet thread with relevant links for these teams. And don't forget to follow these teams on their social media here that's in the call so that you can stay up to date with them as well. Thank you.